Hey everybody out there in the YouTube universe, this is Mr. Movie, and in today's video we're going to be doing another top 5 list. If you watch my channel, you know that I don't do top 10 lists by genre like other YouTubers do. I do the top 5 movies that are in my collection by a particular actor or director. Sometimes they're topical, but today we're sticking with the script, and it'll be a top 5 list of actors' movies that are in my collection. For the movies to be considered, obviously the actor in question has to be in it, but it has to be the starring role or a supporting role. It could be maybe the third most important character, but they have to be really important to the story. You can't have the movie without their character. It has to be integral to the plot. It can't be just a bit part. You can't be in it for just a couple of minutes or just make an appearance. That won't count. It has to be bigger. Also, it doesn't have to be the greatest acting performance of their career. It just has to be a great movie, and they have to be great in it. So with that being said, in this video, I'm going to tell you the top 5 Tom Hanks movies that are in my collection. Tom Hanks is a very diverse actor. He can do it all. I mean, he's not really, I would say, an action guy, but he's done movies where there is action in it. Dramas. He started out doing comedy. A lot of people don't know on TV. I don't think he gets enough credit for his comedy. There was some that I had to leave off this list that I really love, but they just quite didn't make it because they weren't as great as the 5 that did make the list. But he's got a lot of really good comedies. And like I said, this was tough to do because he's got so many. I mean, his filmography is amazing. He's got a very long career, a lot of diverse roles, and all different types of genres of movies. So he's so talented. One of the best actors, I would say, of my generation, and I would say maybe of all time. So diving right into the list, we're going to start at number 5 with Castaway. This movie, I think, really shows off his acting chops because, I mean, you know, a lot of times people don't understand that it's not just the lines. It's your facial expressions, you know, the way you move, the way you react to certain things physically. It's not just what you say. And in this movie, he doesn't have a lot to say for most of the movie, a big chunk of it, because he's on the island and he's by himself. He's got no one to play off of. And it's just him and the elements and him trying to overcome everything, you know, starting fire and protecting himself from the elements. And, you know, it's a really, really interesting movie. It's visually stunning. I mean, from the plane crash all the way through the storms and how the island looks. Really, really cool looking movie. And, you know, it's the determination of mankind over his surroundings. It's that kind of thing. It's sort of like, and also the isolation is very important. I had a discussion with a friend of mine about how this is sort of like I Am Legend, where I Am Legend is in New York City and there's nobody else. Just him and his dog. This is on an island with just him and a volleyball that he's talking to. But see, I didn't really like I Am Legend. I just wasn't for me. I didn't enjoy it. But this I did. I think it's more because I could see myself in that situation. You know, planes crash and people get stuck on desert islands. You know, the zombies and all that. That doesn't really happen. So I kind of, I don't hate the movie, but this one's so much better for that kind of thing. And he plays it so well, and it's just, you know, it feels real that this poor guy is stuck in this situation. And then when he comes home, he's got to deal with, you know, losing almost 5 years of his life and the repercussions of that. Really entertaining movie, and shows off his acting chops without having to be really verbal. Great movie. Number 5 is Castaway. Number 4 is one of the comedies I was talking about. I struggled with which one I wanted to put in, but this is my favorite. It's a pretty unknown movie, I think, to a lot of people, but it's Lady Killers. This is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, watch this movie. His character is ridiculous. The whole movie is ridiculous. It's a remake that was in black and white, but this is a very different take. It's much more comedic, where the other one was more dark. But this is dark humor, and it is hysterical from beginning to end. It's about a heist, and this crew of misfits that came together to try to pull off this heist, and they end up picking each other off one by one. And his character is just, like I said, so ridiculous, and he he plays it so well. It's hysterical. You laugh from beginning to end, and there's a lot of really good actors in this movie. It's an unknown movie, I think, to a lot of people, but you should really check it out. If you like Tom Hanks and you like comedy and you like Tom Hanks in comedies, this is a must see. It's basically, like I said, just a heist movie. You know, they want to rob the Bandit Queen, which is kind of like a gambling barge, and they have to dig underground and under this woman's house that he's staying at, and you just have to see it. It's really funny from beginning to end. So entertaining, and I've seen it a million times, and the jokes never get old. Really cool movie. Check it out. Number 4, The Lady Killers. Coming in number 3, change of tone, very serious movie. This was on my Denzel Washington list, and that's Philadelphia. He's the main guy in this movie. It's so good that I put it on the Denzel list because it's such a great movie and it's such an important movie. It deals with homophobia, it deals with AIDS, people's rights, and it's really important because it's about discrimination and tolerance and just people being afraid of the other, being uneducated about people they don't know, whether it's race or religion or, in this case, a disease. And, it takes place pretty early on in the AIDS epidemic, and people weren't that knowledgeable about it. So, they thought it was just homosexuals. They called it the homosexual cancer. And there was a lot of ignorance involved. And his character is amazing because the strength of his character, and that he wanted to get justice. He was lawfully fired from his job once they found out he had AIDS, and that's against the law. It's discrimination. And Denzel's character is a black lawyer who defends him. He's a lawyer too, and defends him, and kind of realizes that people discriminate against me because I'm black, and I'm over here discriminating against this man because he has AIDS. What's the difference between discrimination? So he represents him, and it's a really deep movie, really important movie. It's a little hard to watch at times because of the subject matter and how just bad human nature can be to your fellow man. But it's really an important movie, and it is entertaining, but it's more important and more I think a socially conscious movie that you need to watch. And his acting performance is just amazing in it. It's heart-wrenching, and it makes you think. And that's what a good performance does. So really great movie, really important movie. Number 3, Philadelphia. Number 2, this was on another list of mine, and I think it's right up there as the best war movies ever made. And in my particular opinion, I think this is the best World War II movie ever made, and that's Saving Private Ryan. He's the main character, I would say, but it's just, this was on my Steven Spielberg director list. It's such an amazing movie. I love period pieces, I love war films, but this one, not the first 10 minutes, because that's kind of giving you a little exposition, but the following 15 minutes when they storm the beach at Normandy is one of the most intense war things you've ever seen in your life. The battle on the beach when they're storming the beach against the Nazis. The action, you just feel like you're on the beach and your best friends are getting blown up next to you and there's bullets flying and bombs, and it's so realistic and so well shot and directed. It blows you away. I mean, it's almost impossible to not be stunned by that scene. And then it just carries on throughout the film. And, he's just a regular guy. He's a school teacher that joined up, with the war, and he got command of this group of guys. And there's 4 brothers that went into the war, and 3 of them were killed. And they had the one left, who's Matt Damon's character, and their thing is to save this one guy, to make sure he doesn't get killed, so at least his mother has one of her sons. And it's the story of them going to get him, and they end up having to defend this bridge. It's the last stronghold. If they lose this bridge, they might lose the war. And it's really intense. Amazing cast of characters, and he's just phenomenal in it. One of the best war movies ever made. It's such a great movie. Coming in at number 2 is Saving Private Ryan, and number 1. One of the most unique movies I've ever seen, and such a great movie, and that's Forrest Gump. What could be said? I mean, it's such a unique movie. It's so different than anything you've ever seen. It's this character who goes through all these periods of American history, and he experiences all these different things. You know what I mean? He meets these bunch of presidents. I mean, he goes from being a kid with braces on his legs to running fast, and then getting noticed to play football. He played football at Alabama during segregation, and then he gets drafted. He goes into Vietnam. He experiences that. He learns how to play ping pong while he's over in Vietnam, becomes the best ping pong player, represents America the first time we go over to China. And then he becomes like a running legend. And it's a crazy movie, and the effects are amazing. How they put him into all of these different newsreels and interviews of famous people, and they interject him in, and it looks legit. It looks like it happened at the time when it was filmed. Great story. It's a love story too. I mean, it's a story about this main character just going through all of these things in history and having an influence on all of it without really realizing it, because he's a little bit mentally challenged. They never really explain it. He has a low IQ, but they don't say exactly what the deal is with him. But it's a really heartfelt movie too, and you come to love the character and root for him, and it's just so entertaining. You could watch this movie over and over, and it never gets old. And I think it's the quintessential Tom Hanks performance, and I couldn't see anybody else playing Forrest Gump. Amazing movie, number 1, Forrest Gump. So running down the top 5 Tom Hanks list of movies in my collection, we got number 5 is Castaway, number 4 is The Lady Killers, number 3 is Philadelphia, number 2 is Saving Private Ryan, and number 1 is Forrest Gump. I hope you enjoyed this. If you like Tom Hanks as an actor, let me know. If there's movies that you like him in that I didn't mention, let me know in the comments. If you have these in maybe a different order, let me know that too. If you like the stuff that I do, you like my channel, please subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Hit the notification bell so when I release new videos, which I do all the time, you'll get alerted and you can check those out. If you're a Tom Hanks fan or just a movie fan in general, hit like, share with your other movie nut friends. I'd appreciate that. Spread the news about Mr. Movie NYC. Also, if you like the shirts that I wear during a lot of my videos, not all of them, but the majority of them, you can go to futuristicvintage.net. That's futuristicvintage.net. And my partner has a whole bunch of t-shirts that you could choose from in all different styles and different colors. Really cool stuff. And I wear them on my channel. You could order them from there, and it's under the umbrella of Futuristic Vintage, which is a bunch of stuff that we do, a bunch of creative things. We got a lot of stuff coming up, so check it out. That being said, this is Mr. Movie, and I will see you again next time at the Flicks.